Hi, I'm Dr. Deborah Epstein, although you might know me as the PMS doc. For years, I've been working with women whose PMS or menstrual cramps were making their lives truly miserable. These women came to see me in my private naturopathic medical practice in Seattle, and just about all of them opened with the same story. Their cramps were so bad, and they were just tired of wasting a day or two or even 3 every month, where their only focus was to get through the pain. Everything else got put on the back burner. They'd call in sick for work or miss class or park their kids in front of a video and feel really guilty about it. 2 things they typically had in common. Number 1, they definitely weren't living their normal life when the pain hit. And number 2, it was bad enough that they went to their gynecologist begging for help and the doctor had nothing more to offer than a prescription for birth control pills. Many of them refused the prescription. After all, these were women who typically avoided drugs unless they really just had no other choice. Instead, they just suffered and resigned themselves to wasting what amounted to 3 to 4 weeks of their life out of every year in and year out. In fact, a lot of women just put up with the suffering. There's sort of this cultural mantra, it's just part of being a woman, you're going to have to get used to it. The thing is, that's just wrong. And I don't mean just philosophically wrong, although I mean that too. I mean it's factually wrong. If you have menstrual cramps or any of the other delightful range of PMS symptoms like mood swings or migraines, you do not have to put up with it. All those PMS symptoms are signals from your body that your physiology isn't working right. And when your gynecologist prescribes birth control pills for PMS or heavy-duty painkillers, what they're doing is muting your body's signals. They aren't correcting your physiology. Maybe you're like my patients, who naturally distrusted drugs as the cure for PMS because they intuitively knew there was something deeper going on, and they were more interested in actually correcting their body's dysfunction rather than just muting the signals. If you're like my patients, and you sense that this idea that there's nothing to be done about PMS or cramps was just wrong, you're right. So as you've probably heard, I've opened up applications to participate in my Calm Your Cramps bootcamp. And I've gotten some really good questions from applicants, and I figured that I'd make this quick video to share the answers. First, Lisa read on my website that the foundation of the program would be a cleanse, and she worried that wouldn't be a fit for her because she's thin and tends to become depleted, especially when she avoids meat. Well, Lisa, you're absolutely right to get clarification. I totally agree that if for a woman tending more towards depletion, I don't want you to do things that are draining, but that's not what we'll be doing. My program is not a fast or a juice cleanse or even necessarily a vegetarian diet, although vegetarians who participate can certainly stay vegetarian. I like to call what I do a real food reset. First, that means we're going to eat real food. You're not going to go hungry and you aren't going to fast. We're going to eat a clean diet that is free of common food sensitivities and free of processed foods and chemicals because all those things cause inflammation in the body, and inflammation drives cramps. So we're eating real food, and in fact, we're going to focus really on a high-powered nutrition diet. And then it's more than only nutrition. There is, in fact, a cleanse or detox element because another thing that drives cramps and PMS is toxicity. So I'll be providing top-quality herbs and nutrients that specifically stimulate your body's innate detoxification mechanisms. So you do more of that and you do it more efficiently. So I hope this clarifies this important point about what cleansing and detoxification means in my program. Next, Jody emailed to say that her primary issue was clotting and a period that involved 8 to 10 days of bleeding, and would this program help? First, Jody, 8 to 10 days, wow. I mean, you might not have cramps, but that is certainly a pain. And yes, the program applies to you too. Excessive clotting is actually an inflammatory dynamic, and we're absolutely addressing that. And really long bleeding times like that indicate that your hormones are out of whack, and that too is something we actively work on and focus on in this bootcamp. Next, I got an email from Holly who said that her primary PMS fun was wild mood swings that affect her for at least a week and sometimes 2 out of every month, and would she fit into the program? And yes, Holly, you fit in too. We're going to focus on 3 primary things in this bootcamp: reducing inflammation, balancing hormones, and reducing toxicity in the body. And all those things directly contribute to menstrual mood swings. And it's also possible that there's a 4th element for people with anxiety or depression or irritability or any of those emotional issues, which is that their nervous system needs care and feeding too. Nevertheless, when a woman comes to my office and tells me her moods have this clear cyclical component, I always start with those three basics. So we know how much of it is her hormones, and then later we add on more care that directly addresses the nervous system. So this program is absolutely the place to start, even if moods rather than cramps are your biggest problem. Now, if you have any other questions that I haven't addressed here or that I didn't address on the details page for the Calm Your Cramps Bootcamp, please get in touch with me via the application button on that page, and the page that I'm talking about should be showing up right now in the caption. That link has an application button, and at the end of the application is a spot for any questions that you are still wondering about. So please fill out that application, and I look forward to setting up a time to interview you and see if you might be a fit to join this program, and I look forward to seeing you on the inside.